It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. Kicking up the show tonight, we heard something from Tony Harnell and Starbreaker with Die For You. And keeping with that theme, we heard something brand new from the Medicine Man release, Snake Eye 7 with Bullets and Booze. And a guy who knows a little bit about both of those things, my good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
What is up, sir? How are we?
Bullets and Booze, my friend.
Well, I could go for shooting some bullets, and I certainly could go for some booze tonight. But,
sure.
Instead, I'm going to go with coffee and no bullets tonight. How's that?
Coffee and no bullets and no booze.
I've got bullets to spare, as the great philosopher Don Dokken said.
Yes, and I had the opportunity to hang with the great Don Dokken last night.
Oh, yeah? How was that?
It was good. We had a very, very good time. It was kind of a little reunion of sorts. I haven't seen Don since, I'm trying to think when I saw him last. It was back in the last part of last year.
Oh, my God. How can you live that long?
Yeah, really. But we had a good time with the boys, and people were asking about you.
Right.
And how's Chris? How's his health? How's his son? How's things?
And you said his health horrible, his son much better.
Yeah. It was so funny because yesterday Dokken played at they played at the Rialto Theater in Joliet, Illinois, and so it's a Friday, and I have responsibilities like work.
What?
Yes, and so the show was with Lita. Mm-hmm. And they're playing with Lita and Queensryche tonight in Detroit.
Okay.
And so it was Dokken and Lita last night, and so Dokken didn't go on stage till I think about 10, close to. Right. It was like 9:30, quarter to 10, somewhere around there.
Sure.
So I headed out to the show, headed over to the hotel, and I got into the hotel, and I'm sitting there with the girlfriend and my nephew, and we're just kind of hanging out in the lobby area.
Right.
And Dawn's friend, Teresa, came down to the lobby, and she saw me, and she goes, "Oh, hey, Wendell." I said, "Hey, Teresa, what's going on?" She goes, "Dawn's been worried about you." I said, "Why?" He's like, "Have you heard from Wendell? I haven't heard from him all day."
Oh my God!
Where is he? Have you heard anything? Because I usually hear from him, and he's not here.
Jesus, it's like, Dad, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. So the next thing, Mick comes down.
Yeah,
and he's sick. He had a cold, but he powered through and whatnot. Sure. And hey, we were all wondering where you were today.
Jeez, oh man.
It's like, well, I'm here. He goes, yeah, we were all like, hey, where's Wendell?
I'm surprised they let you not go to Detroit with them today.
Well, they were asking, you're not going with us?
What?
Yeah, you're not going with us? I said, no. I said, and I was explaining about the Melodic Rock Fest and the fact that I'm going to be away next week to Vegas. And, I said, I can't take that many weeks off from the show.
Right.
And then Chris McCarville comes out. He goes, we were all sitting around here talking about you today. We were wondering where you were.
Oh, my God. Jesus.
I said, oh, I'm here. Well,
why don't you just take the management gig of the band, for God's sakes?
I was just like, dudes, I'm here. It's cool, But we had a lot of fun just kind of cutting up, and everybody was just in a really good mood.
Well, that's good.
And we were just having a lot of fun with that. And But I found out that Chris McCarville is playing at the Melodic Rock Fest.
Is he?
He is.
Who's he playing with?
He is playing with, what's Sunday's lineup? It's Max something?
Max Explosion?
Yeah, he's playing with them.
Okay, is that his band?
Well, I don't know if it's his band or if he's playing with them. I don't know what the real connection is there.
Okay.
But I brought up the Melodic Rock Fest. He goes, yeah, I'm playing that.
Nice.
I said, you are? He says, yeah. He says, I said, who are you playing with? He says, Max Explosion. So
all right.
He goes,
cool.
I'll be there on Sunday.
Cool.
I'm just like, very cool. So we'll see Chris, and then I understand we'll see Jack Frost.
Yeah, I saw that today. I saw it just popped up in my Facebook feed that Jack is going to be there playing with Jean Bouvier.
Nice.
He'll be there on Friday night.
Yeah, so it'll be kind of old home week for us.
Yeah, that's going to... And Adrian Gale, who we know is going to be there.
Yep.
So we know them. Is there anybody else we know from? I don't think so. But we're going to meet a bunch of new people, too, I guess.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's going to shape up to be a pretty fun weekend.
I think so, and we're gonna do some broadcasting a little bit, even if I have to drag you out to do it. I'm thinking we're gonna do some YouTube broadcasting.
Okay, well that's fine. I mean, usually when I'm by myself, it's a little bit difficult to coordinate things and whatever. But if it's both of us together, where we can kind of collaborate and work out some of the technical details and make it work, it kind of helps out. But usually when when I'm flying solo, it's a little more difficult for me to corral people, for one thing.
Sure.
And get to a point to where you can be somewhere where it's quiet, so you're not screaming over the crowd noise.
Right.
So yeah, it should work out. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and I've been feverishly trying to figure out devices and stuff so that we can. What I'm planning to do is I'm going to do some video broadcasting with me and you. I got this brand new laptop that's so small I can take it anywhere. So I'm going to take the new laptop with me, and we can broadcast right from it, like directly to YouTube.
Okay.
So me and you can do some YouTube broadcasting right there. And then I'll take my phone or my iPad or something, and we'll do some interviews that I'll store throughout the weekend.
Okay.
And I'll post them during the week to kind of be like the replacement for the show for the people that listen to the podcast.
Sure, absolutely.
So there'll be plenty of content. There just won't be a live show that Saturday night. And maybe there will. Who knows? I might go live. We might go live. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what the accommodations are and what kind of bandwidth we have and things like that.
Yeah, that's the biggie, is what kind of bandwidth are we going to have to do all this shit?
Right. So, that was cool. And then, speaking of Chris McCarville, he cornered me last night, and he was just like, hey, man, how's the show doing? I said, it's really doing well. And, actually, we were kind of it was John and Chris and myself, and we were all sitting there, and they were asking about the show, and they were just like, I see you guys' name pop up quite a bit.
Okay.
And how's the show doing? I said, well, it's doing incredibly well. And they're like, well, what kind of traffic are you getting? And I said, well, we're averaging about 5,000 downloads a day. Right. And he said, well, what does that cost? I said, what do you mean, what does that cost? And they said, well, what does it cost per subscriber? I said, well, it's free. You're giving that away for free? And I go, yeah, what's the value in the show? I said, what is the value to make somebody pay for that?
Yeah.
Well, what about advertisers? What about sponsors? Are you not selling ad space and things?
No.
I said, well, Chris and I have kind of really talked about this many, many times. I said, we just don't want to turn this into a business to where it's not fun.
Right.
Well, Chris then cornered me later, and he says, so do you guys do any kind of sponsor spots or anything? I said, well, we do a pre-roll on our podcast.
Yeah.
And I said, we make, we charge a few bucks for doing that, but it isn't anything, significant.
Right. No.
And he says, well, with the kind of traffic you're getting, he says, I'm interested in buying some spots from you.
All right.
So we discussed it, and I discussed some cost and pricing and things. So we're going to be running some pre-roll segments for either, I don't know exactly what Chris has in mind, but I think some of it is Dokken stuff.
All right.
And I don't know if it's anything that has to do with any of his business or, his outside businesses and things. So we'll see what goes on.
So what'd you quote him, about $6,000 a week?
Yeah, you know what? I told him, if you and I could make a couple $100, I said, that's all we care about.
Yeah, works for me.
He said, he goes, dude, that's cheap. Just like, well, I said, we're not in for it, the money.
Yeah. It's funny how much this comes up, because I had to have this conversation again this week with somebody else that discovered the show and asked me, how come there's no commercials in it? Some new listener, and just asked me, how come there's no commercials? And I went into saying that, we don't care. And immediately it was like, you guys should be making money. You should do at least a Patreon or something. I'm like, oh, a Patreon. That's what we want to do. In between every break, go. And by the way, sponsor us. Yeah. Go to patreon.com/The Classic Metal Show pan shaking. Whatever, and give us $1, just $1 or $100. It all counts and all that. Shut up. It's just I just can't. For me personally, and I'm only speaking for me, I can't fathom dealing with the tax problem the tax annoyance that would come from doing that for the little amount of money that we're going to make.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not worth it. It's not worth collecting the paperwork to say, okay, we made $3,100 this year extra. Let's figure that in and figure how that fucks me.
Right.
With the tax man. I'll pass.
Yeah, well, I agree.
But if Chris McCarville wants to throw it on the slide, hey, whatever.
Sure.
Cash only, please.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So he's just like, yeah, dude, he goes, we'll talk a little bit more. He says, I got some things I kind of want to throw your way, and
right.
We'll do this and that. And then during the show last night, there were apparently some Classic Metal Show fans in the audience.
Nice.
Because during the show, I was side stage there, and Mick was like, when we get to Alone again, he said that's time for a refreshing drink.
Okay.
So he says just bring me a new refill around Alone again. And he says we'll be good. So they were coming to the end of I believe it was Dream Warriors last night, and okay. he says in his he goes, "Hey Wendell, I think it's time for that drink." So I ran down to catering and fixed him up his Jim Beam and Coke.
Right.
And as they ended the song, I came out to set it up on his drum riser, and I've heard several people from the audience yelling Neeley.
Nice. Or hail and kill.
Well, I heard Neeley. I heard a few Neeleys out there.
Wow, look at you, celebrity.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know who you were, but if you're listening to the show, thank you.
Hello.
That was hello and thank you. But I heard them, and Don and Mick were just like, yeah, we have our bartender working overtime for us tonight.
Nice.
So it was a good gig. It was fun. It was just a very lighthearted thing.
Well, that's cool.
But the best part after at the catering. We were sitting downstairs, and they had the full cater thing going on with the hot trays and everything full of, chicken and fish and asparagus and cakes and cookies and, the whole thing.
Right. Sure.
So we sat down and had some dinner, and of course Don and Mick and everybody was just telling their, they're being their silly selves,
Right. Sure.
So it was fun.
That's cool.
It was a good time. It was just very relaxed. So they jetted off to Detroit tonight, and I'll have to tell you a little story off the air, but
all right.
it was just kind of funny.
Okay, cool.
But Mick being Mick, he's just like, hey, will we be hitting any gun stores on our way there tomorrow? He says we are playing Detroit after all. So,
right about that.
So just a good just a good time.
Nice, that's funny.
Yep. So little rocking with Dokken this weekend.
Very cool.
So what is happening in the world of Chris Aiken and Pinball PA and Chris Aiken IT services and all that good stuff?
Well, Pinball PA, not much. After a record-breaking 3 months, we had our first fucking down week in a long time.
Well,
it's gonna happen, we knew it, and I saw the weather like yesterday, and I was like, we are going to get fucked this weekend. And sure as shit, we got fucked today anyway. Maybe we'll do better tomorrow, but, the combination of the weather and the Penguins being in the playoffs and whatnot, definitely took some money out of our pockets this weekend, but that's all right. The big news Pinball PA-wise is, though, I bought the Iron Maiden pinball machine.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Ouch.
So this is obviously this is not a brand new machine, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is a brand new machine.
It is $9,000 of brand new.
Wow. Okay.
It is brand new. I should have it in about a month.
All right. And what is the special feature of the Iron Maiden pinball machine?
Has great music in it. I mean, it has really good Iron Maiden songs in it, and it's the newest. You know, the big maker of pinball machines today is Stern, and it is the brandiest, newest of the bunch, and it's very highly reviewed, and we got the limited edition, and it's really nice. I mean, it comes with a screen, and as you do different things, you know, you got English war battles going on the screen, and you've got, you know, cannons firing off and Eddie popping up, and it's got some really cool stuff. You can look it up on like Google or something, and you'll see how cool it is. It's a cool game. The opportunity came up with we were in the process of buying another game, and it just, for whatever reason, the developer couldn't get it together to get it to work right.
Okay.
So then the distributor said, hey, we could just transfer the money you've paid over to this one, and you can get the Iron Maiden. And we couldn't fucking jump fast enough to do that.
Okay.
Because the Iron Maiden is getting huge good. See, there it is right there. You know, this game is getting absolutely perfect reviews about how fun it is and how cool, and it has like 12 or 15 Maiden songs in there. Like, the worst Maiden song on it is Fear of the Dark.
Okay.
So figure everything that you like going downward to Fear of the Dark is on this machine. So,
nice.
So it's a hardy investment, but I think it'll make its money back.
Yeah,
so.
I like the graphics. I think the graphics are cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yep.
And again, I have not played it. You know, I'm always the last one to put my hands on any of this shit. I just pay for it. But
you're the last in line.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the new Dio machine coming out.
Right, exactly.
But no, that was my purchase of the week for Pinball PA. Aiken IT, dude, I went old school this week. I did 3 days of 16 to 18 hours a day.
Wow.
I mean, I was really crushing getting the new Pinball PA website built, and the new Aiken IT published, and the new Classic Metal Show SEO'd, and my regular work with actual customers that pay money. You know, very busy this week. So, you know, it was a busy week for that. Was working this week on some top secret stuff that we will be announcing on May 7th.
Okay.
You know, involves some friends of ours. So was busy doing that. Did interviews this week. Interviewed Mark Torian of the Bullet Boys this week.
Mark Torian?
Torian. What I called him Torian. Is it Torian?
Well, he changes it from time to time, but the last time I spoke with him, he pronounced it Torian.
Oh, because the last I remember, it was Torian.
Yeah, I know.
So, whatever.
It just kind of morphs.
Yeah, he liked me though. He loved playing. What did I call the game? Proud of it or regret it?
Yeah.
I took like 5 points, and I said, "Are you proud of this or do you regret it?" And there were things like trying out with Ozzy, and I actually threw the singing with Journey, singing the Journey song.
Oh yeah,
and he was proud of that one.
Was it faithfully?
He said it was a great honor.
Oh, really? Did he do? He sang the Faithfully song, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I asked him about it. He said that it was a great honor to sing with that. I was like, "Ooh, okay, dude." So there was that going on this week. Obviously, myself and Tony Harnell went back and forth 400 times this week, you know, working out for him to come on tonight. So, busy week, although I didn't really go anywhere or do anything. I just worked. Did a lot of work this week.
Oh, good. Well, you're saving it up for the next few weeks, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's going to be busy for the next 2-3 weeks. That's for damn sure.
Well, for me, I know I'll be traveling a lot, you know, because obviously I'm going to Vegas this coming week, and then doing the Melodic Rock Fest the next week, and then Mikey's graduation the following week.
Right.
So 3 weeks in a row, I'll be doing something.
So with Mikey's graduation, what are you doing about the show?
Well, I'm thinking that we could do it from your place.
Okay.
because I think it's on Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I figured, we could go to the graduation and go to the little after party thing and then head over to your place and do the show.
All right. Yeah, I have not confirmed with Mikey yet just because I didn't know what the schedule was looking like.
You didn't get your invitation?
No, I got it. He actually reached out to me and asked me if I was coming, and I told him I could not answer until closer to it because I just don't know. I didn't know what my schedule's looking like. So now, if you're going to do that, then I'll definitely go.
Right.
Because, that means that I sort of have to.
Well, I figured, since we made the trek to Baltimore several years ago, I think
Right.
you can make the trek to Alliance.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's kind of far, dude. Alliance. See, you're killing me with all this travel. Because then the next week I come back to your neighborhood again.
Yeah, true.
Because I come back like 2 days later, 3 days later, I'm back in Chicago for the Cubs game.
Right.
If it's not snowing by then.
Yeah, seriously.
Sick of this shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, okay. That works.
All right. Plus you're well equipped to have in-studio deal, so which is why I set it up that way for you.
Well, we're going to find out next week how good I am at actually making it all work.
Well, you just roll out the mics and you got headphone jacks and everybody can just, mic up and ready to rock.
Yeah. That's what I think, and I do have everything sitting right here, so it should just be plug, on, and it should be on. But
that's how it should work.
I'll spend the whole goddamn day Saturday making sure it's right before I start drinking.
Very nice. Very nice. But other than that, I was looking forward to just kind of having kind of a relaxed show tonight, being that we're going to have guest Tony Harnell call the show.
Sure. Right, absolutely.
And, you'll have to maybe bring me up to speed on exactly what we're doing with Tony because, I know he's pretty relaxed guy, laid back guy, and willing to answer questions from fans who are fans of all of his work with various bands and things. So
right.
Is he promoting anything in specific, or he just wants to come on and just talk?
This came up. We were our friend Andrew, Andrew, obviously, Melodic
sure.
Rock Andrew,
right?
Posted a thing on his Facebook this week about how he's changed his mind that he's not really a fan of TNT anymore. He's just a fan of Tony Harnell's voice.
Okay.
And it was based on that ridiculous shitbag song that TNT released. I don't know if you heard it, but
I have not heard it. I have not heard it.
Garbage. So I jokingly posted on this thread, I said, TNT without Harnell is kind of like Van Halen without Eddie. It was just like just being a clown. Well, Harnell liked it, and then out of that, I hit him up real quick, and I just said, hey, when are you coming back on the show? And he was like, when do you want? And I was like, how about Saturday?
Yeah.
So he's not really promoting anything, but he just hasn't done very much press since the Skid Row and
his departure from TNT again, and
his second departure from TNT and Skid Row. He hasn't done hardly any, and he's not really doing any press until probably later in the summer when he's got a new Starbreaker record that's going to be coming out.
Right.
So that's when he's going to actually do press. But he was like, hey, you want me to come on? Let's come on. We'll just talk about all this stuff. And, he apparently really liked what we did last time. And how could he not? That was fun, but he was like, yeah, come on. We'll take calls. We'll do whatever. So it's like, okay, cool.
Well, I just want to let you know that I have in my hand from 1987 a Tell No Tales TNT cassette tape.
Do ya? Congratulations, Rufo. I actually did send you, I don't know if you saw the email, but I sent you some points.
Oh, I haven't looked at email.
Yeah, look in your email because I did send you a couple of things that we can hit on.
Okay.
just so that you wouldn't be completely in the dark.
Yeah, it's nice that you would, think of me and do a little show prep for me.
Well, you do 99.99% of it. I might as well do something every once in a while.
Throw me a little show prep, will you?
Yeah, I did some show prep this week. I probably sent you like 2 articles this week.
Yes, you did.
So I was show prepping like a motherfucker this week.
Yeah, the fans have been extremely active with the show prep as well. I see stories flying in on a daily basis through the request email now.
Love that, don't you?
Well, the funny thing is since you revamped the website, it seems like more people are more actively using, contacting us.
Sure. Well, that's good. I think a lot. I'm going to guess. I have not seen the email, but I'm going to guess a lot of people want to hear me using that gavel tonight.
Yes, they do.
Dude, how great was that when that arrived? I just took that picture and sent it.
Yeah. Judge Aiken has received a gavel.
So funny.
Yep.
Good stuff.
So what time do we expect, Tony?
Tony, we're gonna play music at about 10 after, I guess.
Okay.
And I'll get Tony on the line and we'll go live with him about 10:15.
Okay.
My time.
All right.
So about a half hour.
All right. Just wanted to know what was happening here because usually I'm I'm kind of like a control freak. I got to run the show.
Well, hey, better you than me.
Right.
God knows I'm dreading next week. I'm not dreading hanging out with John or with Joe or apparently with Jackal too. Seems like he wants to come in too. So I'm definitely not dreading all those guys coming in. I'm dreading the fact that I'm going to have to run the gear. Well, I know it's easy. I know all I got to do is hit connect.
You just what is there to running the gear?
Well, for one, I got to figure out a way to get music played. Because remember, it doesn't play through Skype.
Well, who are you Skyping with?
Oh, that's true. I guess nobody. Fuck. All right, that problem's solved. Dude, I'm terrible at this. For a guy that makes his living being a tech, I think it's just because I don't do it. Where you always do it, so you know the ins and outs of it.
Right.
Where me, I don't do it. I barely ever put my hands on it. And because of that, it is just fucking Russian to me. I just don't understand it. And probably it's nothing more than pulling up Winamp and hitting connect. And then I'm connected. And then that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
But
then you just play music like you normally do. And you just turn your mic on just like you normally do. And everybody else's mic is already on. And nothing to it.
Yep. Just going to have to make sure that they click their mics off and stuff.
Right.
So it doesn't sound like total dog shit.
Exactly.
It'll be fine. Either that or you'll just have to apologize for me in 3 weeks. That show Chris did the other week was fucking terrible.
It was awful.
I apologize now, Bandian.
Yeah. And you obviously have a way of allowing the callers to call the normal 800 number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all set up now.
It just switch over and you're ready to go.
Yep. Should be good. Will be good. I promise I will not be disturbing you while you're hanging out in Vegas.
Well, the thing is that I have a very, very early flight on Sunday morning to get back, and so you'll probably just be ending the show when I'm heading to the airport.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, what time is your flight?
6:55.
Okay.
That's Pacific time.
Okay.
So it's like 8:55 here or 9:55 your time.
Yeah. All right. So that is early.
Yeah, but the thing is everybody's got to go back to work on Monday, and so I get back home about 1:00 in the afternoon on Sunday. So I got rest of Sunday to kind of recoup.
Right.
And get back, in the mindset that, hey, I'm back in the real world.
Yeah.
It's time to go back to work now.
Going for the Mile High Club this time?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't want to be accused of rape of just following some woman into the bathroom because they're so huge.
Right. Just tuck her head under one of those little blankets that they give you.
Yeah.
Those nice, clean blankets.
Yeah, you never know where those things have been.
Especially when they take it out of the overhead. It's not like wrapped in plastic. It's like open. It's like, God, How many dirty guys' joints has that fucking been rubbed on?
Where did that blanket come from again?
Just gross.
Where did that pillow come from? Whose greasy head was on that pillow?
It's like it's the equivalent of eating from the lunch line right after the lady tucked her hair in.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, no.
It's like eating at the all-you-can-eat buffet at the strip club.
Yeah, it's about on par with that as well. Oof,
we're going down to Deja Vu to eat lunch.
And where am I going to get my lunch? I'm going to go over to the landing strip.
Yeah. They have a food bar over there while you watch the big chicks, wrestle a pole.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to watch some 180-pound chick while I fucking eat a fillet of fish. No, I'm not. Yuck.
Hey man, have you been down to Dream Girls? They really put on a good buffet down there.
I've heard that before too, and not Dream Girls necessarily, but I've heard somebody say that before. Oh, they have a great lunch buffet. Yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck. I just can't fathom eating at a strip club.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no reason to ever do that. Ever. The closest I think I've ever come to that was when I used to go to Austin all the time, Austin, Texas,
right.
for work. There was a restaurant there called Bikini's Bar and Grill.
Okay.
And it was exactly that. It was just chicks in fucking really small bikinis. It was like a better Hooters. And like this guy totally picked like the right girls to work the dinner rush too, because they were all hot as fuck. And they would just come sauntering over with their big titties bouncing while they fucking served you a fucking whatever burger. And I used to go there a lot. But that's as close as I would come to eating in a strip club. And they were at least somewhat covered.
Right.
And even that was kind of weird, but whatever.
Well, I haven't been to a Hooters and man.
Is it even still in business?
Oh, yeah. They just built a brand new one. I noticed that they opened one not far from here today. I was out for a drive and went to the Quaker Steak and Lube today, and they built a brand new Hooters just right down the street from there.
Yeah, once they started putting guys in the
Well, that's kind of where I was going with this. I haven't been to a Hooters in, I want to say that the last time I went to a Hooters, my nephew and I were on our way back from a WASP show.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm going to say it was probably about 11:30 or going up on midnight. I think they stay open till 2 or something.
Okay.
And we went in there and, it's just like, what is the appeal to this place?
Yeah.
Because when they first opened Hooters, obviously the reason it's called Hooters and the main attraction is that they had some very, very well-built girls working the place. And I guess it was hot chicks at the time. I've been to a Hooters maybe, I want to say 3 times total.
Okay.
And very early on, at least the first time that I went, probably way back in 1990, I want to say 95 maybe.
Right.
That was their claim to fame, was having very booby chicks serving you wings, Right. But then when all the discrimination and, they're not hiring flat girls and they're not hiring because I'm not attractive enough, and the uniforms are too skimpy and they're this and they're that, and people just started making a problem for it. Sure. And then they had to start changing their hiring practices, and they had to, like you said, consider having guy waiters and shit like that. What's the point in going there now?
Why in the fuck would you go to Hooters? In fact, how cheated would you feel if you went to Hooters and, hi, I'm Bob, I'm going to be your waiter?
Yeah, but the point is, it's no longer Hooters now, is it?
No. It's just every other restaurant. It's Applebee's.
Yeah.
That's all it is now. It's Applebee's with a shitty shirt. Because the chicks are ugly and fucking half of them are fat and half of them are guys.
Right.
Nah, pass.
Yeah. So I don't know why anyone would go there, because at least the couple of times I've been there, the food isn't all that great.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's
see
nothing
there, right in the chat room, there's Bikini's Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah, I see that.
That was the place in Austin.
Okay. Well, you can kind of understand why guys would go there if the girls looked like that.
Well, those are probably the girls that were working there.
At that time.
They were hot. They were definitely hot, man. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I never was a big fan of Hooters. I just about got arrested there once with Randy, of all people. I was with Randy, and we were at remember the Hooters that was right there on the lake? Do you remember that on the east bank of the Flats?
Oh, in the Flats, yeah. That's one of the ones that I've actually been to.
We were in there, and I don't remember what happened, but something started. I was drunk.
Wow, what a surprise. Chris Aiken was drunk in public? What?
I know that's amazing, but I was drunk, and some guy started some shit with I think with Randy, not with me, but I stepped into it, and I punched the guy, and there was like a gate, and he fell through the gate and then fell in the water. He went right through the gate into the water. I was like, hup, gotta go. Me and Randy took the fuck off.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
Because I did not want to go to jail, but I did. I punched him right square in the fucking mouth, and he went flying through the little gate and right into the water, right into the lake.
Got drunk and fell into the water.
Too many good memories. How come I think of that as a good memory?
Yeah, because it was when the wild and crazy Chris Aiken was on the loose.
Dude, back in those days with Randy, when Randy and I would go out there, holy shit, you did not know what was coming from minute to minute. And it was both of us. Randy was just as nuts too. He just wasn't violent.
Yeah.
Randy, it was nothing to be with Randy and have Randy like disappear for 10 minutes and come back so goddamn baked that you had to almost carry him to his car.
What? Randy was baked?
I know. Can you imagine? You know, that happened a lot. And then the one thing that Randy could do better than anybody back in those days was get backstage at shows. That guy never needed a pass and could get backstage to anything. Anything. It was... I truly didn't believe... I mean, I had been with him and seen him get backstage to, like, little shows, Gravity Kills and shit like that.
Right.
But when he worked his way all the way to the back with Kiss, and we met Kiss because Randy just kept bullshitting the guards, I was like, this guy's really got a talent for this.
Yeah, he's a master. Because he's... Well, and here, this just goes back to about succeeding... in anything that you're passionate about.
Right.
Randy was passionate about that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Randy loved to meet rock stars.
He was all about the rock stars because he wanted to be one so bad.
Yep, true. And he definitely played the part trying to get in there. So, you know, he did love it. That's for sure.
Yeah. He always had the mojo working and, you know, trying to show that he belonged.
Right.
But, you know, even I found myself backstage in places where, you know, I obviously didn't really have a pass of any kind.
Sure.
So, you know, periodically I would get some laminates and things from, you know, other shows.
Mm-hmm.
And at Nautica stage especially, if I wore some laminates and I went to a show and stuff, people would just step aside and let me just walk on by.
Yeah, especially if you didn't wear them around your neck. If you hooked them on a belt or something.
Yeah.
Where all the other roadies were carrying theirs, they would just be like, yeah, come on. And that was one of Randy's tricks, too. Randy had every laminate he ever had. Even half the ones that Randy had on his belt were ones that he made for his own damn shows.
Right.
Randy's band would draw 8 people on a good night, but Randy would still have laminates for his band.
Right.
You know, VIP access.
Yeah.
The liquor and sticker tour access.
It was kind of funny. I went to Nautica stage. It was Tesla. I think it was Tesla, Vince Neil, Rat.
Right.
And see who else. It was one of the Rock Never Stops tour.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember who else played that. It was Rat with Jizzy.
Right.
Tesla, Vince Neil, and there was somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Mm-hmm. And I basically walked up to the gate where they, take your ticket. Mm-hmm. They just opened up the gate and let me walk through.
Right.
And I just walked up to the stage and stood on the side stage. Well, when Tesla came on, the security came and cleared everyone off the side of the stage.
Right.
Except me.
Yeah, you guys have that mojo or that look or something, because I'm the first one they throw right the fuck out of there.
Yep.
I do not. You know what? And you know what? You're probably right when you're saying it has a lot to do with if you really want to be there.
Right.
Like you give off an aura, like, because you know me, I don't really want to be there. Half the time, I'd rather, I can think of one, maybe two shows where I was thrilled to be side stage.
Right.
Any other time, the only two shows was Hall & Oates when they let me hand the percussion player the instruments. That was like the joy of my life, to be on stage with Hall & Oates handing the sax player the fucking tambourines and saxes and shit as the songs came. That was cool as fuck. And then the only other time was the first time that when I introed Pantera at Blossom. When I did that, because it was Pantera, and one, I revved up the crowd. Not that the crowd needed my help to get fucking amped, but I got them absolutely nuts. And then just to be standing there and watching that energy and that aggression from the crowd and from Pantera was just fucking amazing. But other than that, most times when I'm on the side of the stage, I'm like, I'm going to go sit in the seats. Dude, remember when we were side stage at Dokken at the House of Blues?
Was it Roxino or House of Blues?
Roxino. One of them, wherever it was, that we were side stage with what's her name? Rockin'
Robin.
Rockin' Robin.
Yeah, that was at the Hard Rock Casino, Hard Rock.
Yeah.
What is it? Roxino?
Roxino, yeah. When we were there, remember, I wanted to leave. I wanted to go sit in the seats, and the security wouldn't let us because they wouldn't let us open the door because the light would come in.
Right.
Remember? Because I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go sit in the chairs. And they were like, no, you can't leave. You have to stay here. So we had to stand on stage for the whole show.
Yeah, you got a little chair because that's when the bone in your foot popped out.
Yeah, it was. I was having all the problems with my foot, but that's not why I didn't want to stand there. I mean, that was a part of it, but I hate the sound on the side stage. Can't hear anything.
Right.
It just sounds like that's what it sounds like the whole fucking show. And it's like, I'd rather go sit out front and hear it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a huge fan of side stage. I'd rather just come back either before or after and say hello and get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
But it's difference of people. That's like, I believe I'm already thinking about the shows at Melodic Rock Fest, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to fucking hang out backstage. How many times? How many interviews am I gonna do from the backstage area? Like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah. It'll be fun. Well, I don't know what kind of accommodations they'll have for you and I, but I'm sure that there will be maybe a table or something set up.
Yeah, well, we do have a booth.
Okay.
I've been on it with Andrew saying we need a booth and we need space and we need enough room to be able to sell shirts and books and condoms and blah blah blah. All our shit.
Right.
So we will have a little booth set up, and Kelly already said she'll run the booth for us. So, and I got my extra square thing this week so that we can actually use phones or a tablet or something to do sales with.
The square.
Yeah. So we're all set up for that. I've been busy getting ready for this stupid thing.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of prep work.
There really is, and this is it's weird because you and I have such defined roles on the show. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to the actual what people hear live week to week, it's you.
Yeah.
That's your domain, other than me sitting in the chair and yelling and screaming. That's all I really do. But when it comes to anything that we do outside, it's almost always me.
Right.
I generally always book these appearances and these events, and I work with the bands, and
that's because you work from home and you have that leeway to do that. I can't do that at the office all day.
exactly. So, so we're, but it is weird how that's always been the way it has been. It's always worked out that way. And it works. I'm not complaining. I'm saying that's a good thing because we both know when we're supposed to do something.
Sure. Well, I mean, bringing that up, I just think back about one of the very early times that we were probably one of the very few and first people to ever do live internet broadcasting remote.
Right.
And working that all out. And especially, when I would travel from here and come back to Cleveland.
Right.
And we did like the Metal Sludge nights out for, 2 or 3 nights in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the CMS nights out where, you would arrange to have some bands and things come in and we would do a live broadcast.
Sure.
And all the equipment that I used to carry because this was before everything was scaled down to laptops.
Right.
And
sure.
I had full PCs.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole trunk of my car was loaded with mixing boards and PCs
right.
and monitors and, everything else and table and
right.
banners and shirts and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
It was a whole traveling road show.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, you would pull up and it took like about a half hour to just
unload all the stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And then you'd move your car around, come back in, and you'd tell me to get the fuck out of the way, and then you'd start setting things up.
Yeah, just start wiring up everything. But then probably one of the most successful shows, which, we all had a lot of apprehension about, but it actually worked out okay, was when we did the live broadcast outside at Nelson's Ledges.
Well, yeah, it worked out well, but boy, I was ready to leave.
Oh, I know you were, but that was when I scaled everything down to laptops.
Right.
And had a small mixing board and laptop and a router, and we did it wireless.
Yeah. Yeah, with you climbing up on the top of some fucking shed somewhere to put the router.
But it worked.
It did work.
It worked.
Yeah, that was quite, and I mean, you were able to stream live for 12 solid hours.
We did. We streamed live 200 feet away, sending a wireless signal from out in the middle of nowhere to a router mounted on top of a tool shed.
Right, with a long cable that ran into a house that just looked like the scene from Hooters.
Yeah, I had a 100-foot Cat 6 cable running from a router that was plugged in on top of a tool shed. It ran into a office and it was plugged into their router.
It was a mess, but it worked.
It worked.
It did work. We had a good time that night.
Yeah, we had signal.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
You did all that, and what did I do? I got up on stage and sang. That was my contribution.
Sure.
My contribution was interviewing the drunk guy, getting Scotty's like 5-year-old son to swear, and singing with the Metallica tribute.
Yep.
That was my contribution to that day.
Yeah. But it was definitely a inventive day of making things happen.
Yeah, it was. And we got some great stuff. I mean, the drunk guy was a fan favorite for years.
Yep.
Years and years. That was a big hit.
Sure. All right. Well, Tony Harnell is coming up here in about 7-8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 7 minutes after 10, right?
Yeah. So I'll call him in a few.
Yeah. So, did you want me to play anything in particular, or you don't care?
Play some Starbreaker or whatever.
All right, I do have some Starbreaker right here.
Yeah, or Westworld or any one of his bands.
Yeah. Well, I'll play some Starbreaker and I will play some Westworld.
Okay.
And then when you got things lined up on your end, we'll come back out and we'll start talking.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'm going to play something from the Starbreaker release, Love's Dying Wish.
All right.
And let's see here. What should I think in tribute to some of our live broadcasts,
right,
I'm going to play a song called Beautiful Disaster.
Perfect.
All right. Well, here's some Starbreaker featuring our good friend Tony Harnell on lead vocal, and we'll come back with Tony here in a few minutes. So everybody go grab a drink and settle in. It is Starbreaker exclusively here
on your classic metal show.